The silence before the storm. The observation deck of the Imperial warship Dominator hung suspended in the darkness of space, its massive hull casting shadows across the star field beyond. Commander Vexthor stood motionless before the viewing port, his 6 eyes tracking the slow rotation of a small blue planet far below. Earth. The word felt strange even in his thoughts. This was the world that had once sent tremors through the galaxy, the civilization that had made even the mighty Krell Empire pause in its endless expansion. But that was millennia ago, before the Great Silence descended upon humanity. Vexthor's second officer, Lieutenant Cora, approached from behind, her footsteps barely audible on the polished metal floor. She carried a data tablet that glowed with soft amber light. The lieutenant's expression was one of professional concern, though her antennae betrayed her nervousness with their constant twitching. She had studied the old records, the ones that most Imperial officers dismissed as exaggeration and myth. The stories of human warfare, of their impossible victories against overwhelming odds, of technology that seemed to defy the known laws of physics. The commander turned to face her, his scaled features impassive. Cora presented the tablet without speaking, allowing the data to speak for itself. The screen showed scanning results from the previous rotation, atmospheric readings, electromagnetic signatures, and population estimates. Everything pointed to the same conclusion that the Empire had reached 5,000 years ago. Humanity was finished. Their cities lay in ruins, their satellites drifted as silent debris, and their once proud fleets had long since turned to cosmic dust. Cora finally broke the silence with a question that had been troubling her since they entered this system. She asked why the Empire bothered with Earth at all. If humanity was truly extinct or reduced to primitive survivors scratching out existence in the ruins, what threat could they possibly pose? Why waste resources on a dead world? Vexthor's response was measured and cold. He explained that the Empire had learned long ago never to leave potential enemies behind, no matter how defeated they appeared. A wounded predator could still bite. The truth was more complex than military doctrine, though Vexthor would never admit it to his subordinate. The High Council feared Earth. They feared it in ways they feared no other world in the known galaxy. The ancient records spoke of humans who refused to surrender even when their bodies were broken, who turned defeat into victory through sheer determination and creativity. They spoke of a species that evolved not through natural superiority but through constant adaptation and innovation. And most terrifying of all, the records spoke of weapons that could reshape reality itself. Deep beneath Earth's surface, in chambers that had not seen light for 5,000 years, something was stirring. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the control room of Facility Omega, her hands trembling as she watched the displays come to life one by one. She had spent 30 years of her life searching for this place, following clues hidden in archaeological sites and ancient texts that most scholars dismissed as fantasy. The facility was impossible by every measure of modern understanding. It existed in a space that shouldn't exist, powered by energy sources that violated known physics. Sarah's research partner, Marcus Webb, was frantically taking readings from every instrument they had brought. His excitement was palpable, barely contained behind a veneer of scientific professionalism. He kept repeating that the energy signatures were off the charts, that whatever technology powered this place was still active after millennia of dormancy. Sarah tried to calm him, reminding him that they needed to be systematic and careful. But even she could feel her heart racing with a mixture of fear and wonder. The chamber they stood in was vast, stretching away into darkness that their lights could barely penetrate. Massive pillars rose from floor to ceiling, each one covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change when viewed from different angles. In the center of the room stood a structure that defied description. It was part machine, part something else entirely. Crystalline components merged seamlessly with metal alloys that Sarah's analyzer could not identify. Streams of light flowed through transparent tubes, moving in patterns that suggested intelligence and purpose. Marcus approached the central structure cautiously, his scanner held out before him like a shield. He noted that the system was responding to their presence, that it recognized them as human. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. How could a machine 5,000 years old recognize anything? How could it still function when everything else from that era had crumbled to dust? The answer came in the form of a voice that seemed to emanate from the air itself. It was neither male nor female, speaking in perfect English that somehow carried the weight of ages. The voice identified itself as Guardian, the custodian of humanity's last defense. It explained that it had been waiting, watching, maintaining readiness through 5,000 years of silence. The system had observed the Krell Empire's approach, had calculated threat levels and response scenarios. Now it awaited authorization to activate Protocol Omega, the final safeguard left by humanity's greatest minds before the Great Collapse. Sarah and Marcus exchanged glances, both understanding the magnitude of what they had discovered. This was not just an archaeological find. This was a functioning weapons system of unimaginable power. Sarah asked the obvious question. What would happen if they activated the protocol? Guardian's response was chilling in its simplicity. It would give humanity one final chance to prove it deserved to survive. The system would awaken defenses scattered across the planet and in orbit, technology preserved and maintained by automated systems for this exact moment. But there would be consequences. The activation would draw the Empire's attention directly to Earth. There would be no hiding, no diplomatic solutions. It would be war, and humanity in its current weakened state would need every advantage the ancients had left behind. Above them, Vexthor received the first indication that something had changed. A technician reported an energy spike from the planet's surface, localized but powerful. The commander ordered immediate analysis. Within minutes, the technician reported that the energy signature matched nothing in Imperial databases. It was old, incredibly old, but also sophisticated beyond current technology. Vexthor felt something he had not experienced in his long military career. He felt genuine uncertainty. He ordered the fleet to battle readiness and sent an encrypted message to the High Council. Earth was not as dead as they had believed. Sarah stood before the Guardian interface, her finger hovering over the activation sequence. Marcus was arguing that they needed more time, more information. They did not understand what they were about to unleash. But Sarah was looking at the data streams Guardian had shared, showing the Imperial fleet in orbit, showing their weapons charging, showing attack vectors being calculated. The Empire had not come to observe. They had come to ensure humanity's extinction. She made her decision with a steady hand and clear eyes. She pressed the activation sequence, and the world changed forever. And how many have graduated to full membership? There was a pause. It lasted only a second, but Volkov caught it. Graduation is a long process, Thane said. It requires proof of maturity, wisdom, restraint. Most species need several thousand years. Several thousand years as subordinates. Dr. Tanaka's voice was sharp. As students, Scholar Varum corrected. Learning from those who have walked the path before. Volkov looked at her delegation, then back at the aliens. Ambassador Thane, we appreciate this offer. Truly. But humanity will need time to consider such a fundamental decision. This would change the entire future of our species. We understand, Thane said. We are prepared to remain in your system for 30 more days. During that time, we hope to demonstrate the benefits of cooperation. We have brought gifts. Technology that could cure diseases, improve your energy systems, extend your lifespans by centuries. Generous, Volkov said. But we have learned that gifts often come with expectations. Thane's smile was gentle, almost sad. Secretary General, we are not your enemies. We are not here to conquer or control. We simply wish to prevent another tragedy. Your species has enormous potential, but also enormous capacity for self-destruction. We have seen your history. Your wars. Your weapons. Left alone, humanity will eventually face a crisis you cannot overcome. And you offer salvation, Minister Abra said flatly. We offer survival, Commander ZYX replied. The galaxy is more dangerous than you know. There are forces beyond the confluence that would view humanity as prey. There are cosmic threats that require unified action. Alone, you are vulnerable. With us, you are protected. The meeting continued for hours. The aliens offered demonstrations of their technology, showed projections of what human civilization could become with their help. They spoke of peace, prosperity, advancement beyond humanity's wildest dreams. But beneath every word, every promise, was the clear implication: join us, or face the consequences alone. When the delegation finally left, materializing back to their ships in columns of light, Volkov sat in the empty conference hall with her advisors. No one spoke for a long time. Finally, Dr. Tanaka broke the silence. They are offering us a golden cage. Yes, Volkov agreed. And if we refuse? Then we find out if humans can laugh in the face of extinction one more time.